Why don't we just start with a round of self-intros, real quick, like 1 sentence about what you're doing and your company. Let's start with Chris. Just a round of self-intros, just a sentence about why learn about who you are and what you do.
Okay. Hey guys, this is Chris. I run a YouTube channel called Mr. Block that I've been creating DeFi tutorial video for the past 6 years. I've done over 1,000 video. I've done a video about Orderly, done a video about Perpetual protocol, for BTSE, everyone here. So if you don't know about any of those projects, you can go and watch my video. At the same time, I'm also a co-member at Curve. I've been at Curve for the past 3 years, expanding Curve in the Asian market, and now we're doing a lot more incubating and advising projects to build specifically on Curve. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Yenwen. I'm one of the co-founder of Perpetual Protocol. Perpetual Protocol is a perpetual swap DEX with an AAM. We are actually one of the first team to explore like how we can build a perpetual DEX, and it's been live for like 3 years until now. So yeah, excited to be here.
My name is Jason. I'm the CTO and co-founder at Feng. My background was more from an academic and research angle. In my PhD, my focus was on building ASICs for ZK papers. And I went to Jaden, focusing on the infrastructure side of things. So I kind of brought that when I was co-founding Feng to try and use a lot of this research to build a better ASIC.
Thank you. Good morning, guys. So this is Jaden from Flow Traders. So long story short, Flow is like a very traditional ODS marketing firm back to like 2005, headquarters in Amsterdam. It's also listed company since 2015 and then crypto since 2017. Focus on quite a lot of stuff, trading, investment, or I say a lot of like electrifying things, ETF, tokenization, a bunch of different things. So yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Henry, the CEO of BTSE. BTSE stands for Buy, Trade, Sell, Earn. We are a decentralized exchange operating globally, markets across Europe, Middle East, Asia. But in Taiwan, we also hire a lot of engineering and builder talent. We've been here well over 5 years, operating with a staff of over 300. So we are hiring and looking to actually set up an independent regulated exchange here in Taiwan next year. So happy to meet anybody that's building, especially locally.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I'm Rand, co-founder of Orderly Network. First question. So we're just a DeFi panel. We think that DeFi will change the game. And I'm curious to hear your perspectives on how DeFi will revolutionize CeFi and all finance in general. Let's start with Chris.
Hey, I think there's a lot of aspect that DeFi can change CeFi, but more importantly, I think I would like to say is transparency. And if we, AI is really hot, this year, right? If you ask AI to kind of give you a balance sheet of a country or a public listed company, right? They can help you with that, but they can't really, figure out the answer because most of the companies don't have even the public listed one don't have a very transparent, book. Even our country, right? We don't know how much gold we have. We can only give you an estimate, and there's not much historical data there. So I think one major thing that crypto, especially DeFi, is bringing to CeFi and is this transparency that you can ask AI to tell you all the transaction that's happening on Bitcoin, and it'll give you that in a few minutes because everything is there. You can search it. If you want to know all the transaction that happens on Curve, you can go on Ethereum and search it. We have a do that Curve monitor that allows you to do that, right? So, and with those information, you can build a history book of it, right? And figure out what's going on, and you can create a balance sheet and a clear book. So I think what crypto can bring to CeFi is a more clear and transparency way. But I don't know if government or companies want to do that. Maybe they really want to hide a lot of stuff. So yeah, thank you.
Well, just a follow-up question. So you're an OG in crypto and in DeFi, and Curve is very innovative and renowned for its V model. So in terms of innovations, future innovations, whether at Curve or, and you're an avid investor, right? So in all the projects that you invest, what kind of innovation are you seeing that will take DeFi to the next level?
Okay. I mean, this year we're seeing a lot more innovation around, I think, the token design. More and more projects are deciding to use, point system. We're seeing that in Blur and Blast, where instead of giving out, tokens per block, as we've seen in the last DeFi summer, where project deposit liquidity every block, they're getting X amount of token as reward. But now we're seeing, project that has these, love and hate situation where they don't really give you an answer, right? So Blur, you can farm it, but you don't know when you actually get the token until the season ends. And you don't really know how much token you get. So some people will farm it and some people don't. People that stay earn more. So I think we're starting to see more and more DeFi project use this system where a team has more, wiggle room around how to control the token emission, which is the main reason why a lot of the DeFi project has kind of gone into a semi-death spiral, because user that want to farm it will just keep farming it and dump it, right? So it's always want to buy, farm and dump, right? But with Blur, you see, heavy player like Machi, right? And many other players that are NFT whales that are trying to farm it. It's no longer where you have the most money, the most liquid provided, that you can earn the most points. And also we're seeing, I guess, more and more projects that launch new token system on top of their point system where they give you a reason to stay in. So I guess that's not really an innovation in terms of DeFi itself. Last input I want to say on that is, even at Curve, right, and I think many of you know about our Viper compiler issued back in August, right? The code itself, Curve contract, has no issue, right? We've done multiple audits. One of the things that we do is we just keep auditing, right? We're one of the few projects that spend the most, millions and millions of dollars on auditing. But then it was the compiler issue back in, 2019, one of the version that resolved in this issue. So I think that is one of the main reasons we're not seeing that much innovation, because people are starting to realize that we should spend more time kind of going back, because everything just kind of moved too fast in DeFi. I think there's 100x more money spent on project contract audit than there is on Solidity team. I think both Solidity team and Viper team are on the budget. I think there's not much innovation there, but that's what I wanted to share.
Thank you. Okay, so Curve is safe. Thanks for this. Yenwen, so back to the original question, how do you think DeFi will change the game? What are you doing to contribute?
Since DeFi summer is already been like 3 years, I do think that DeFi have already changed a lot of crypto. On centralized chains, on decentralized, on lots of things. Like Uniswap already took like 30-40% of the spot trading volume, so it's huge. Like Ren said, that the Perpetual DEX is kind of behind, but I do think that it will pick up like in the next few years. The whole transparency, permissionless, it actually. I personally believe that it's a really convincing point that people want to trade on DeFi, and at least look at Uniswap. That's where people go. So that I do think that more and more centralized change will be replaced by decentralized, or centralized change will have parts of it decentralized. Like OKS, they have been promoting their OKS wallet, Web3 wallet, that type of things. So yeah, so I actually think that it already DeFi is it's not going away, and just like more and more adoption in the future.
Okay, what about specifically for perpetuals? Because you're one of the original perps dexes with your VAM model. What about, there's order books now, there's GMX. What do you think perpetuals are going on chain?
Yeah, that's a good question. I personally don't have a good answer. I mean, like we've been trying to. Okay, so like personally, I think there is no really a unique selling point for people to use Perpetual on decentralized network. Centralized chain is still faster, better, cheaper, like Ren said. There are lots of technology, like layer 2, layer 3 that you will, bring down the costs. We have a kind of structured wallet that actually bring the user experience closer to the centralized chain. I think after all those unique time, maybe 2 or 3 years, then I think people might find it's actually equivalent to chain of debt and also centralized chain. But it's not like Uniswap. You actually have a unique selling point for the spot market. Perpetual market is a little bit different. So yeah, but personally, I do think that centralized chain might have parts of it decentralized, so become more transparent, and then they're actually still able to keep the user. So that's
Okay, well on that point, why don't we go directly to Henry, because you talk about centralized exchanges. So BTSE is a successful centralized exchange who then created a decentralized product. So original question, Henry, can you talk about your BTSE's entry into DeFi? How do you think DeFi will change the game, and what are any other DeFi plans going forward for BTSE?
So DeFi products and DeFi applications, I think they coexist. There are a lot of benefits already mentioned to why centralized exchanges are just easier, faster, smoother, better user experience at the moment for people to onboard into crypto, to move their assets around. But with DeFi, it's just that it allows many things that the other guests here today just spoke about, whether it's permissionless, whether it's just the speed and flexibility, things that you want. If you're more creative and you want to be able to utilize your assets in different ways, I think DeFi products allow that to happen. Obviously, there are some risks involved to this, but as a centralized exchange, we like to work with DeFi products and DeFi services. This allows the ability for you to even say be just more capital efficient overall, right? Like if you're able to use an asset for collateral and use another asset for collateral, you have different types of assets, other things as you're using it in a much more efficient way. And I think that's something that DeFi allows people to do, but it works a lot better when you have both of these ecosystems exist. So in terms of DeFi, yeah, we do both, and we like to make sure that they coexist on one platform. Users have a seamless, easy way to move across different platforms as they wish, so long as we're educating them the right way and building out the tools in the ways that best benefit the user.
Great, so the DEX is already live. I think it's dex.bitsy.com.
That's right, dex.bitsy.com in partnership with Orderly.
Yeah, thank you for that. And then any other DeFi plans in the future for you guys?
I think for us, a lot of it is we are an enabler. We support a lot of projects, not just listing them, integrating their chains, but then also providing, whether it's providing liquidity to that particular project, bootstrap it, and help incubate it. These are all things we do. So on the DeFi front, I wouldn't say there's one particular thing, but I think it's mostly across any DeFi product or application that a centralized exchange user has a benefit from using, we will continue to seek to integrate, to add, and to help improve on.
Okay, great. So coming off of that, I want to go to Jaden. So Flow Traders is one of the largest market makers around in TradFi and in crypto. If you could, just from a trader's perspective, let us know more about how you guys are trading on DeFi how is it different than CeFi and how you have seen that evolve?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, so from traders' perspective, we definitely both active on both, I would say, CeFi and DeFi. And I mean, from the Boreal perspective or from the liquidity perspective, I would say like, couple years before, I mean, the ratio is like, I think 9-1, something like that. But right now, I mean, from a trading perspective, I think we are doing like 70% to 30%, something like that. So we're definitely putting more effort into DeFi. I mean, that taps in different perspective. I would say some of them are really looking into like deploy capital onto liquidity, because like there is different kind of like liquidity mechanism on different type of like DeFi applications. I mean, it could be simply AMM, it could be like a GMX type of product, it could be like a order book. I mean, different type of products have different type of like way to deploy capital, and also different way to manage your liquidity, also like all this kind of like loss or like any open interest score or whatever, this kind of like APY questions. So I mean, for us, it's like we will look into like the mechanism of different DeFi protocols. Also, like we will do like calculate the P&L. I mean, for deploying capital in different applications and get to the end more like what is the best way for us to do the integration, deploy the capital, and what ratio and what strategy. But at the end of the day, I would say DeFi is definitely getting more interested, and actually we spend quite a lot of time to doing like working with Uniswap on the UniX product. I mean, to make it into like an RFQ product from a DeFi perspective, to make it like more user friendly to TradFi traders trading on a DeFi way.
Okay, great. So do you make more money on DeFi or CeFi? I'm just kidding, you don't have to answer that. Do you have any words of advice to all the DeFi builders out here to get more traders like yourselves to be onboarded onto their DEXs?
Sure. So I guess like the question is more like what type of traders that you're tapping into, because I mean traders using, I would say, algo firms or like manual traders is kind of different. I mean, if you're focusing on retail, definitely you have to improve your, I would say, the user experience to make it as simple as you can. I mean, for example, we see a lot of products which is like focusing on fixed income maybe, or focusing on options. I mean, the product is good, but it just comes to the problem that retailers don't understand how to use it. That's a problem. So you have to make it easier. No matter you get it like a liquidity management tools or whatever other middleware, just make it as simple as you can. The second one is like the algo traders. I mean, from the algo traders' perspective, it's more like what kind of tools that you guys can offer for those traders to really do the integration. Because at the end of the day, I guess the most difficult part for the traders is like how, like for those kind of like sophisticated traders, is how to integrate, I mean, your trading strategies into the DeFi protocols. I mean, if you can offer some kind of like, or say, APK or development tools or whatever to make it easier for integration, it will be way more easier. Otherwise, even like us, I mean, for us to integrate with like certain complicated DeFi protocols, we actually somehow use like even more than 2 months to finish the integration work to make sure everything is safe. I mean, we don't suffer any kind of like security loss. Right? So that is the big issue for us.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Let's go to Jason next, right? So you're from the liquid staking perspective. So please just talk about DeFi and how you see it from the LSD perspective.
Yeah, totally. So from the point of view of TradFi, like getting a 3, 4, 5% yield is great. And so this term has kind of been thrown around as like the risk-free rate of crypto, and that being staking. And I kind of want to try and disentangle that, because I think that's been sort of over-leveraged in marketing recently, and I think it's good to sort of outline the risks here. So there's like 2 types of risk. There's this exogenous risk. So as a staker, I'm not actually affected by things like the price of ETH kind of affecting my staking position. The risk that I have is this endogenous risk, so risk coming from inside. And so that's really risk that I can manage. So as a staker, it's like if I don't slash myself, then I am sort of free from this risk. If I'm online, then I'll be earning. And so this is really attractive from the point of view of TradFi, because they have control now. Like they can sort of opt into staking and run their own infrastructure, and they're not really affected by risk coming from other players. So I think we're kind of seeing in the market now how there's this move to like Bitcoin ETFs, there's talks of ETH ETFs, and I think the logical step after that would be some form of staking, and maybe eventually some form of liquid staking. And so I kind of think like it's still considered DeFi. You're just holding an LST. People can always go sort of ape into DeFi and do some crazy degen things, but really just holding the token is enough for you to get exposure to this kind of sort of risk-free rate of crypto. And so at Puffer, what we're doing is really trying to eliminate a lot of this endogenous risk. So we built the first ever anti-slasher from an EF grant, and this is something that your validator runs alongside to sort of prevent you from slashing yourself. And so this is one of the key things that we need for people to start onboarding and running more of these validators. And on the other side, what we've been working on really is how to increase the amount of yield beyond just sort of native proof of stake yield, but sort of touching into this new paradigm of free staking as well.